The galaxy was quiet that night. Stars burned in silence, scattered like cold fires across the endless dark. On the far rim, where few dared to travel, a mining colony sat on a lonely rock. It was small, forgotten, and unimportant. But it was here that the signal began. The first pulse was faint. A single burst of static carried across the void. The Galactic Council's listening stations almost missed it. But the second pulse was stronger, jagged, and broken, like a scream cut short. Operators leaned forward, adjusting dials, trying to catch the message. What they heard chilled them. It was not words. It was not numbers. It was raw sound, metal tearing, stone cracking, voices crying out. Then silence. Then another burst. A pattern. A warning. Something had happened on the edge. The council dispatched a small rescue ship. It was routine, they told themselves. Mining colonies often suffered accidents. Equipment failed. Workers panicked. But deep inside, every officer felt unease. The signal was too sharp, too violent. It carried fear, and fear was not common in the outer colonies. When the rescue ship arrived, the colony was dead. The landing pads were scorched. The towers were broken. The air smelled of smoke and ash. No bodies lay in the streets. No survivors waited at the gates. Only silence, heavy and unnatural, pressed against the crew as they stepped out. The commander, a tall alien with silver skin, ordered his team to search. They moved through the ruins, weapons ready, lights cutting through the dust. Doors hung open. Machines were smashed. Walls bore marks, deep gouges, claw-like scratches that no tool could make. Something had torn through this place with rage. In the control center, they found the source of the signal. A recorder sat on a cracked desk, still blinking. The commander pressed play. The room filled with chaos. Screams. Gunfire. Heavy footsteps. A roar that was not animal, not machine, but something in between. Then a final voice, trembling, whispering, "They are here." The crew froze. None spoke. The commander's eyes narrowed. He had heard stories, long ago, whispered in council halls. Stories of a world too dangerous, too violent, too wild to join the stars. A world locked away, quarantined, forgotten. A world called Earth. Its people were named Deathworlders. The council had dismissed those tales as myth. No one believed humans could survive beyond their cursed planet. But the evidence was here, carved into walls, burned into stone, echoing in the recorder. The Deathworlders had come. And they had left nothing behind. The commander ordered the crew back to the ship. But as they turned, one soldier pointed upward. Across the sky, shadows moved. Figures descended slowly, carried by packs of fire and light. Humanoid shapes, armored, silent, watching. The crew raised their weapons, but the commander stopped them. "Do not fire," he whispered. "We are already dead." The figures landed on the broken street. Their armor was dark, scarred, glowing faintly with blue lines. Their helmets hid their faces, but their movements were sharp, precise, practiced. They carried weapons unlike any the crew had seen, rifles with glowing cores, blades that shimmered in the air. They did not speak. They only stood, watching. One stepped forward. Smaller than the rest, but commanding. She removed her helmet. Her face was human. Scarred. Cold. Eyes like steel. She looked at the commander, and for a moment, the galaxy seemed to hold its breath. "You should not have come," she said. Her voice was calm, but heavy with threat. "This place is ours now." The commander tried to speak, but no words came. He felt the weight of history pressing down. The council had ignored Earth. They had called it cursed. They had left it alone. But Earth had not forgotten. Earth had prepared. And now, its warriors stood here, on the edge, claiming ground with fire and silence. The humans turned away. They did not attack. They did not explain. They simply walked into the ruins, disappearing into the shadows. The commander's crew lowered their weapons, trembling. None dared follow. None dared speak. The silence returned, heavier than before. Back on the ship, the commander sent a message to the council. His words were simple, stripped of detail, but filled with warning: the Deathworlders are real. They are here. And they are not finished. The council received the message hours later. In their grand chambers, leaders argued. Some dismissed it as fear. Others demanded proof. But the recording was undeniable. The sound of screams, the roar, the whisper, "They are here." It played again and again, echoing through the halls. And with each replay, the silence grew deeper. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Traders spoke of shadows on the rim. Soldiers spoke of ruins left behind. Civilians spoke of monsters in human form. The name returned, carried on every tongue: Deathworlders. The last thing aliens ever saw. The commander sat alone in his quarters, staring at the stars. He knew the truth. The humans were not monsters. They were survivors. They were warriors forged by a world that tried to kill them every day. And now, they had stepped into the galaxy, carrying that same fire. No one was ready. No one could stop them. The silent signal had been the first warning. The ruins were the second. The humans themselves were the third. And the commander feared there would be more. Much more. The galaxy had lived in peace for centuries. But peace was fragile. And Deathworlders did not believe in peace. The stars burned quietly, but the silence was broken now. Somewhere, out there, humans walked among the ruins, preparing for what came next. The commander closed his eyes, hearing again the final whisper from the recorder: "They are here." And he knew, the galaxy would never be the same. Long before the silent signal, long before the ruins on the edge, there had been another meeting. It was the first time the Galactic Council had looked upon Earth. They had come not with weapons, but with curiosity. They wanted to see if humans could join the stars. The council ship descended through the clouds, gleaming silver against the blue sky. Its crew expected awe, respect, maybe even worship. But what they found was different. Humans did not bow. They did not tremble. They stared back with sharp eyes, cautious and unyielding. The council's envoys stepped forward, tall and graceful, their voices calm. They spoke of peace, of trade, of unity. They offered technology, medicine, and knowledge. But the humans did not smile. They asked questions instead. Hard questions. "What do you want from us?" one leader asked. "Why now?" another demanded. "Why did you wait until we built rockets of our own?" The envoys hesitated. They had expected gratitude. Instead, they felt suspicion. The humans were not like other species. They were direct, blunt, unwilling to trust strangers. The council tried again. They explained Earth's classification: a death world. A planet too violent, too unstable, too dangerous. Its storms were deadly, its predators relentless, its diseases merciless. By all logic, humans should not exist. Yet they did. And they thrived. The humans listened, but their faces hardened. To them, the word "death world" was not a warning. It was an insult. It was a judgment passed by outsiders who had never walked their soil, never fought their battles, never buried their dead. One human commander stepped forward. His uniform was worn, his eyes sharp. "You call our world cursed," he said. "But it made us strong. It made us clever. It made us survive. Do you fear us because we endured what you could not?" The envoys faltered. The air grew tense. The humans stood taller, prouder, as if the insult had only fueled their fire. The council tried to smooth the moment. They spoke of cooperation, of joining the galactic community. But the humans were not convinced. They saw the council's ships, their weapons, their technology, and they wondered, was this peace, or was it control? Talks continued for days. The envoys offered gifts, advanced medicine, clean energy, star charts. The humans accepted, but cautiously. They tested every device, studied every chart, questioned every word. Trust did not come easily. Then came the mistake. One council officer, frustrated by human suspicion, spoke too freely. He called Earth primitive. He called humans violent animals. His words were not meant for the leaders, but they were overheard. And once spoken, they could not be taken back. The room fell silent. The human commander's face turned cold. Primitive, he repeated. Animals. His voice carried across the chamber like steel. We built fire when your kind still hid in caves. We crossed oceans when you feared the waves. We reached the stars with our own hands, our own blood, our own dead. Do not call us animals. Do not call us weak. The officer tried to apologize, but the damage was done. The humans ended the talks. They sent the envoys away. The council ships rose into the sky, leaving Earth behind. From that day, Earth was quarantined. The council declared it too dangerous, too unstable, too unpredictable. No trade. No diplomacy. No contact. The humans were left alone, locked behind invisible walls. But humans did not forget. In the years that followed, Earth grew stronger. They studied the gifts left behind. They learned from the technology, improved it, reshaped it. They built ships of their own, faster and harder than the council expected. They trained soldiers, warriors forged by a world that never gave mercy. And they remembered the insult. Every child learned the word Deathworld. Every soldier carried it like a badge. Every leader spoke of the day the council came, offered peace, and left with contempt. The humans did not see themselves as cursed. They saw themselves as chosen, chosen by their world to survive, chosen by fate to endure, chosen by history to rise. The council believed the quarantine would keep Earth contained. But Earth was never contained. Its people were restless, curious, hungry for the stars. They built fleets in secret. They mapped the galaxy with stolen charts. They watched, listened, and waited. And when the time came, they stepped beyond the quarantine. The first human ships were small, silent, moving through the dark like predators. They did not announce themselves. They did not ask permission. They simply appeared, on the edges of colonies, in the shadows of trade routes, in the ruins of forgotten worlds. At first, the council dismissed the reports. Pirates, they said. Smugglers. Rebels. But the evidence grew. The tactics were too sharp, too precise. The weapons were too advanced. The soldiers were too disciplined. These were not pirates. These were Deathworlders. Whispers spread through the galaxy. Traders spoke of human eyes watching from the dark. Soldiers spoke of battles lost to unseen foes. Civilians spoke of shadows that moved like men but struck like monsters. The council tried to deny it. But deep inside, they knew the truth. The first contact had not been friendly. The insult had not been forgotten. And now, the humans were coming back. The commander who had once stood before the envoys was older now, scarred by battles fought in silence. He looked upon the stars and spoke to his people. They called us animals. They called us cursed. Let them see what animals can do. Let them see what Deathworlders truly are. And so the humans prepared. Not for peace. Not for trade. but for war. The galaxy had laughed at Earth. The Council had dismissed it. But the humans had endured. And now, they were ready to show the stars the truth. The first contact had ended in silence. The second would end in fire. The galaxy had heard whispers. Traders spoke of shadows. Soldiers spoke of battles lost in silence. But whispers were not proof. The Galactic Council still believed humans were contained, locked on their cursed world. That belief ended the night the Deathworlders arrived. It began on a frontier outpost, a station built on a barren moon. The outpost was small but important, guarding a trade route that carried food and fuel across the rim. Its crew lived quiet lives, watching the stars, waiting for smugglers or pirates. They did not expect war. The first sign was the silence. Communications failed without warning. Screens went black. Alarms did not sound. The crew thought it was a glitch, a storm, a fault in the systems. But then the lights dimmed, and shadows moved across the landing bay. A ship appeared, not large, not grand, but sharp and dark, built for speed and war. Its hull bore scars, its engines burned with blue fire. It did not carry a flag. It did not send a signal. It simply landed. The crew gathered at the bay, weapons ready, voices trembling. The doors opened, and figures stepped out. They were tall, armored, silent. Their suits were scarred, their helmets glowing faintly with blue lines. They moved with precision, every step measured, every glance sharp. At the front walked a woman. Her armor was heavier, her scars deeper. She removed her helmet, revealing a face marked by battle. A scar cut across her cheek, her eyes cold and unyielding. She looked at the crew, and for a moment, none dared breathe. "We are here," she said. Her voice was calm, but it carried weight. "This station belongs to us now." The commander of the outpost stepped forward, trying to speak. His words faltered. "Who are you?" he asked. The woman's eyes narrowed. "We are Deathworlders." The word struck like a blade. The crew froze. They had heard the stories, the warnings, the myths. But myths were not supposed to walk into their station. Myths were not supposed to carry weapons that glowed with fire. The humans did not attack. They did not shout. They simply moved through the station, taking control with silence. Systems flickered back to life, but now they answered to human hands. Doors locked. Weapons shut down. The outpost was theirs. The crew tried diplomacy. They offered peace, asked for terms, begged for mercy. The humans listened, but their faces did not change. One soldier spoke at last, "Peace is a lie. You came to our world once. You called us cursed. You left us alone. Now we return the favor." The commander asked why. "Why now? Why here?" The woman answered with a single word, retribution. The humans did not kill. They did not destroy. They simply left the crew alive, trapped in their own station, powerless. Then they vanished into the stars, leaving behind silence and fear. News spread quickly. The council tried to hide it, but whispers carried faster than truth. Traders spoke of human ships moving like predators. Soldiers spoke of battles lost without warning. Civilians spoke of faces scarred by war, eyes cold as stone. The council gathered in their chambers, voices rising in panic. Some demanded war. Others demanded peace. But none could deny the truth, the Deathworlders had arrived. On another colony, the humans struck again. This time, they did not take control. They destroyed. A fleet of council ships tried to resist, but the humans fought differently. They did not rely on numbers. They used terrain, shadows, fear. They struck from angles no one expected, vanished before reinforcements arrived, and left wreckage behind. One alien commander survived long enough to face them. He stood on the battlefield, his soldiers broken, his weapons useless. The human woman approached, her armor scarred, her weapon glowing. "Why do you fight us?" he asked. His voice shook. "We offered peace once." The woman's eyes burned. "Peace," she said. "You called us animals. You locked us away. You feared us. Now you see why." She raised her weapon, but she did not fire. She turned and walked away, leaving the commander alive, broken, and haunted. The galaxy trembled. The humans were not pirates. They were not rebels. They were warriors forged by a world that gave no mercy. They fought with precision, with silence, with rage carried across centuries. The council tried to rally fleets, but fear spread faster than orders. Soldiers whispered of ghosts. Civilians whispered of monsters. Leaders whispered of legends. The word returned, carried on every tongue, Deathworlders. And everywhere they went, the humans left the same message: we are here. The galaxy had laughed at Earth. The council had dismissed it. But now, the humans walked among the stars, carrying scars, carrying fire, carrying vengeance. The Deathworlders had arrived. And they were not finished. The galaxy had lived in peace for centuries. Trade flowed, colonies grew, and the council believed stability would last forever. But peace is fragile, and when the Deathworlders arrived, that peace shattered like glass. At first, the council tried to ignore them. Reports of human raids were dismissed as exaggerations. Rumors of scarred warriors were called myths. But the evidence grew too heavy. Outposts fell. Colonies burned. Fleets vanished. The whispers became screams. The council gathered in their grand chamber, voices rising in panic. Some demanded war. Others begged for diplomacy. But no one could agree. Fear spread faster than reason. The word Deathworlders echoed through the halls, heavy and sharp. The humans did not wait for decisions. They struck again, and again, and again. Their ships were small but fast, moving like predators through the dark. They did not fight for territory. They did not fight for wealth. They fought for something deeper, vengeance. On the planet Vera, the council stationed a fleet of warships. It was meant to be a show of strength, a warning to the humans. But the Deathworlders did not attack head-on. They waited. They studied. They struck at night, when storms covered the skies. The fleet's sensors failed. Communications died. Shadows moved across the ground. Human soldiers appeared from nowhere, using terrain, weather, and fear itself as weapons. They did not fight like the council's armies. They fought like hunters. Every strike was precise. Every move was planned. The alien soldiers panicked. They fired blindly into the dark. But the humans were already gone, slipping through shadows, striking from behind. One by one, the warships fell. Explosions lit the sky, thunder mixing with fire. By dawn, the fleet was gone. The survivors spoke of ghosts. They said the humans moved without sound, their eyes glowing in the storm, their weapons burning with blue fire. They said the humans did not fight for victory. They fought to terrify, to break the will of their enemies. The council called for reinforcements. More fleets were sent. More soldiers marched. But the humans did not fight like armies. They fought like predators. They struck where defenses were weak, vanished before reinforcements arrived, and left ruins behind. On the colony of Eris, the humans attacked the power grid. Lights went out. Machines failed. The colony fell into darkness. Then the humans walked in, silent and cold. They did not kill civilians. They did not destroy homes. They simply took control, leaving the colony powerless and afraid. The council tried diplomacy. They sent envoys, offering peace, offering forgiveness. But the humans did not answer. They did not speak. They only fought. One alien commander, desperate, tried to meet them face to face. He stood on a battlefield, his soldiers broken, his weapons useless. The human leader approached, the scarred woman, her eyes cold as stone. "Why do you fight us?" he asked. His voice trembled. "We offered peace once." The woman's face hardened. "Peace," she said. "You called us cursed. You locked us away. You feared us. Now you see why." She turned and walked away, leaving him alive but broken. Her silence was heavier than any weapon. The galaxy trembled. The humans were not fighting for land. They were not fighting for wealth. They were fighting to prove a point, that they could not be ignored, that they could not be contained, that they could not be insulted without consequence. The council called it war. But the humans did not call it war. They called it survival. They called it justice. They called it retribution. Every battle was the same. The humans struck with precision, using fear as a weapon. They did not fight for numbers. They fought for impact. Every strike carried a message: we are here. The galaxy had never seen war like this. Fleets were built for open battles, for grand clashes in the stars. But the humans did not fight grand battles. They fought small wars, sharp wars, wars that cut deep and left scars. The council tried to adapt. They trained soldiers to fight in shadows, to resist fear. But fear is not easy to resist. Fear spreads faster than orders. Fear breaks armies before battles begin. On the planet Koran, soldiers refused to fight. They laid down their weapons, trembling, whispering of Deathworlders. They said the humans were monsters, ghosts, demons. They said no army could stand against them. The council punished them, but punishment did not erase fear. Fear grew. Fear spread. Fear became stronger than fleets, stronger than weapons, stronger than leaders. The humans did not need to win every battle. They only needed to remind the galaxy of what they were. And with every strike, every scar, every ruin, the galaxy remembered. The war had begun. But it was not the humans who wanted it. It was the council, forced into battle by fear, by pride, by desperation. The humans fought because they had to. The council fought because they had no choice. And so the war spread, across colonies, across fleets, across stars. The galaxy burned, and the humans walked through the fire, silent and cold. It was the war nobody wanted. But it was the war everyone feared. The galaxy was burning. Colonies fell, fleets vanished, and whispers of Deathworlders spread like fire. The council had tried diplomacy. They had tried war. Nothing worked. Fear grew stronger than orders, stronger than weapons, stronger than hope. At last, the council made a choice. They would gather their strongest armies, their finest fleets, their most advanced weapons, and hold them all on one fortress planet. It was called Arion, a world of steel and stone, built to resist any siege. If the humans came, they would face the full strength of the galaxy. Arion became a fortress of shadows. Towers rose high, bristling with cannons. Shields covered the skies. Soldiers marched in endless lines, their armor gleaming, their weapons ready. Every corridor was trapped. Every gate was locked. Every wall was reinforced. The council believed no army could break it. But the humans were not an army. They were Deathworlders. The first night was quiet. The soldiers waited, staring at the stars, listening for engines. None came. The second night was the same. Silence stretched across the fortress, heavy and sharp. Some began to hope the humans would not come. Then, on the third night, the lights failed. At first, it was small, a flicker in the towers, a dimming in the corridors. But then the shields collapsed, the cannons froze, the gates unlocked. Panic spread. Officers shouted, soldiers ran, alarms screamed. But the systems did not return. The fortress was blind. In the dark, shadows moved. Human soldiers walked through the corridors, silent and cold. Their armor glowed faintly with blue lines, their weapons burning with fire. They did not rush. They did not shout. They moved with precision, every step measured, every strike planned. The alien soldiers fired blindly, but the humans were already gone, slipping through shadows, striking from behind. Explosions lit the halls, screams echoed, and fear spread faster than bullets. The fortress was meant to resist armies. But the humans did not fight like armies. They fought like predators. They cut power, broke communications, shattered morale. They turned the fortress into a tomb. In the command chamber, the council's generals gathered. Their faces were pale, their voices trembling. How did they breach the shields? One asked. How did they disable the cannons? Another demanded. No one had answers. Then the doors opened. The scarred woman stepped inside, her armor heavy, her eyes cold. She carried her helmet under one arm, her weapon glowing in the other. Behind her, more humans entered, silent and sharp. The generals froze. None spoke. None moved. The woman looked at them, her face marked by battle, her voice calm but heavy. You built this fortress to keep us out, she said. But walls mean nothing to Deathworlders. One general tried to speak. His voice shook. Why do you fight us? We offered peace once. The woman's eyes narrowed. Peace, she repeated. You called us cursed. You locked us away. You feared us. Now you see why. She raised her weapon, but she did not fire. Instead, she lowered it, her silence heavier than any bullet. This is not war, she said. This is a lesson. The generals trembled. They understood. The humans had not come to destroy. They had come to show the galaxy what they were, survivors, warriors, predators forged by a world that gave no mercy. Outside, the fortress burned. Towers collapsed, cannons shattered, soldiers fled. But the humans did not chase. They did not slaughter. They simply walked through the ruins, leaving fear behind. The survivors spoke of ghosts. They said the humans moved without sound, their eyes glowing in the dark, their weapons burning with fire. They said the humans did not fight for victory. They fought to terrify, to break the will of their enemies. The council called it defeat. But the humans did not call it defeat. They called it justice. They called it retribution. They called it survival. The fortress planet had been the council's strongest hope. Now it was their greatest failure. The humans had walked through its walls, broken its defenses, shattered its pride. The galaxy trembled. The war was not over. But the message was clear. The humans could not be contained. They could not be ignored. They could not be defeated. The generals sat in silence, staring at the scarred woman. She looked back, her eyes cold, her voice sharp. You called us Deathworlders, she said. Now you know why. She turned and walked away, her soldiers following. The fortress fell into silence, broken and empty. The galaxy had lived in peace for centuries. But peace was fragile. And Deathworlders did not believe in peace. The fortress planet had fallen. The Council's strongest armies had been broken, their finest fleets scattered. Across the galaxy, silence spread. Everyone waited, wondering where the Deathworlders would strike next. The humans did not rush. They did not announce their plans. They moved like shadows, choosing their targets with care. Every strike carried a message, every ruin carried fear. The galaxy trembled, waiting for the end. On the planet Kalar, the council gathered its last hope. It was not a fortress, not a fleet, but a council of leaders. They believed words could still save them. They believed diplomacy could still matter. They believed the humans could still be reasoned with. The chamber was vast, filled with voices, filled with fear. Leaders spoke of peace, of forgiveness, of unity. They spoke of mistakes, of insults, of the quarantine that had begun it all. They begged for mercy. But mercy was not coming. The doors opened, and silence fell. The scarred woman entered, her armor heavy, her eyes cold. Behind her walked her soldiers, silent and sharp, their weapons glowing faintly with blue fire. They did not rush. They did not shout. They simply walked, every step measured, every glance sharp. The leaders froze. None spoke. None moved. The woman looked at them, her face marked by battle, her voice calm but heavy. "You called us cursed," she said. "You locked us away. You feared us. Now you see why." One leader tried to speak. His voice trembled. "We made mistakes," he said. "We judged too quickly. We feared too much. But we can change. We can offer peace." The woman's eyes narrowed. "Peace," she repeated. "You offered peace once. But peace was only words. Words mean nothing without respect. And you never respected us." The chamber fell silent. The leaders trembled. They understood. The humans had not come for peace. They had not come for trade. They had come for justice. The woman raised her weapon, but she did not fire. Instead, she lowered it, her silence heavier than any bullet. "This is not war," she said. "This is truth. You feared Deathworlders. Now you know why." The leaders bowed their heads. They knew the truth. The humans were not monsters. They were survivors. They were warriors forged by a world that gave no mercy. They had endured storms, predators, diseases, wars. They had endured everything their world threw at them. And now, they carried that fire into the stars. Outside, the sky burned. Human ships hovered above, their engines glowing, their weapons ready. The planet trembled, waiting for destruction. But the humans did not fire. They did not destroy. They simply hovered, silent and cold, watching. The leaders looked up, their faces pale, their voices trembling. "What do you want?" one asked. The woman's eyes burned. "We want you to remember," she said. "Remember that you called us cursed. Remember that you locked us away. Remember that you feared us. And remember that you were wrong." She turned and walked away, her soldiers following. The chamber fell into silence, broken and empty. The leaders sat in silence, staring at the doors. They knew the truth. The humans had not come to destroy. They had come to show the galaxy what they were: survivors, warriors, predators forged by a world that gave no mercy. The galaxy trembled. The humans had walked through its walls, broken its defenses, shattered its pride. They had shown the stars the truth. The last thing the aliens ever saw was not fire, not destruction, not death. It was the face of a human, scarred and cold, eyes burning with steel. It was the silence of warriors who did not need words. It was the truth of Deathworlders. The galaxy had lived in peace for centuries. But peace was fragile. And Deathworlders did not believe in peace. They believed in survival. They believed in strength. They believed in justice. And now, the galaxy believed too.